I am sitting here with Yaakov Baruch of Manado, and he's going to tell you something about how the community started.
Okay. Hi, shalom. First, I started my communities about 24 years ago, around year 2000, with when my grand auntie, or I call it my grandma, when she's still alive, she asked me to go to find a Jewish family or the Jewish descendant in my hometown, and you should build synagogue so they can back to worship again. It's not.
Say who your grandmother was.
My grandmother's name was Frederica Dina van Beugen, and she was asked me to do that because she said for many years she missed there is a Jewish activity, and then it was forbidden in Indonesia since the Independence Day of Indonesia after the Second World War. So when she asked me to do that, I go to every family that she mentioned to me, like go to the family Bollegraaf, go to the family Ezekiel. They are Jewish. Their family used to a friend of my parents. She told me. So I go to them, and she asked me to build a synagogue because she told me that she hoped that Bezrat Hashem, she want me to become rabbis. I was in just finished high school. It's not easy on the time, there is no Jewish community active in Indonesia. It took time. Okay, I learned from internet. Then I found my relative that survived the Holocaust. Is the auntie and the uncle of my grandmother. I found one in Australia. His name was Leo van Beugen. He told me he know my great grandfather. That's his uncle, but too bad they were separate when my family from my grandmother migrated to Indonesia before the war. And that's not also make us survive, but most of the Jews in Indonesia were sent to the Japanese camp on the time. So many Jews also died from the Japanese in the camp. It's like a concentration camp in Europe. But after I go to the people, I study to internet, and then I go to meet the Surabayan Jew, the Iraqi community. There was a synagogue at that time. It was built in 1937, but it's not active. And but too bad, about 11 years ago it was destroyed. And when I built the synagogue, that Baruch Hashem this month we will celebrate the 20th anniversary. Now this is only a synagogue in Indonesia. So I'm glad that when I start to go to every Jewish family, they didn't know anything about the backgrounds. But I believe that the descendant of the Jewish community in Indonesia should back to the Torah, So I teach them about Hebrew, I teach them about Shabbat.
Say how you knocked on the doors.
I was knocked the door and I said, "Are you family Bollegraaf?" Yes. Are you Jewish? And yeah, people said that their parents was Jewish, and then I told them, "What are you practicing now?" Most of them they are Christian or Muslim, and when I said that I'm Jewish, they curious to see what I have in my head, and they said it's like Aladdin at that time. They said it's like an Aladdin head, and said no, it's a kippah. But we remember my grandfather has said. They even remember when I was kid. There is an old man. He told that remember his grandfather put something in like a tie. Then I said that's a tefillin. Oh, when I show it to him, he said yes. He start to recognize. So it's not easy for the first time because they said they against the Judaism. They not believe anything about the Torah. They already practicing Christianity and Islam. Took time until when we ran a room to start as a synagogue around 2002, 2003, and after that they become they devote in the Torah. They keep Shabbat, they start to learn Kashrut, and Baruch Hashem in 2004 there's a family from Holland give us a permanent synagogue that now we celebrate the 20 years anniversary. From that moment that I start to go to this community outside Indonesia. I start in Singapore, and then I go to Israel. Everything because of the donor from American Jew. When I go to Singapore, I have a friend in Singapore, pay my expense, go to study in Singapore. Also, when I go to Israel, I went to Israel. There's my friend, he just passed away. I just hear from his son. His name is Rick Helper, Zichron Livracha. He's from Torah Atlanta. He paid my first trip to Israel in 2009. So when he paid, I went to Israel. I studied there. I have a lot of friends in Mia Sharim and Yaakov Baruch. I'm studying in that kollel, and I'm back to continue my service in Indonesia. And then I met Chabad. I started working with Chabad to help to the Jewish visitors mostly, the tourists, Israeli tourists, Jewish tourists, to make a high holidays and also for Seder. But then on in 2010, when my mother become she's dying, so I thought I will marry, and then on my wife, so we married in the synagogue, and then from that I moved to my hometown. But I used to live in Jakarta to help the people from U.S. Embassy all the time. We have so many backgrounds. I don't label in people. I mean, they come from Reform, from Conservative, Orthodox. But for me, Jews are Jews, so I don't care what their backgrounds. We just need a place in U.S. Embassy facility in Jakarta. I'm doing there. I'm leading the high holidays for a few years. And then when I moved to my hometown in 2011, we have our first son, Baruch Hashem, that we got my son Levi Yitzhak. So I start to concentrate to take care of the synagogue. And a few years later, we have many locals who interest to become Jewish. We don't have a bet din, we don't make it, but I told them, you're free to come to learn. And after they're practicing for more than 5 years, and Baruch Hashem, I've been in touch with the bet din from America at the time. And then we help for the first year after we make the kosher mikva. Then I involved with the Sephardic world. One thing I like in the Sephardic that we don't split people there. That's my mission. So we don't call people Reform or Conservative Orthodox. Like I said, Jews are Jews. About the different of level of observance, that's how they keep in touch with Hashem. And we don't have any right to judging people for what they believe in. If you make more mitzvah, it's good. If you make less mitzvah, it's your. But you're not a holy than the other one. That's what I believe, and that's I practice to my community. I'm doing this for volunteer because Indonesia is not really a wealthy country, so I'm doing this. What I believe since I decide to become rabbi, like there is something there tamid inside my heart, then I don't want that flame to become off. So I always want to keep it. The neshama is light, and that's what I'm doing. And Baruch Hashem, since I active in interfaith, I have a chance to go everywhere. Every time I have interfaith meeting, like in Portugal, in Berlin, or even in Israel and America, I have a chance to meet the local Jewish community and to have a friendship with them. And now we have a challenging that after many years Judaism is not recognized. Baruch Hashem, after I fight with the government that Judaism is recognized and we can change our ID card.
Tell us about the Holocaust Museum that you set up.
Like I said, when I was in touch with my relative that survived Holocaust, I got the information that I lost about more than 30 families from my grandmother's side. So for many years, I have a desire where after I visit Yad Vashem in 2009, I have idea to pay respect to my family, but it's not easy because we have a problem with the finance, everything. But Baruch Hashem, when we do the construction of our synagogue during the COVID, because we cannot do anything, then we got a chance to make the construction. And there is an idea to build the Holocaust Museum. I spoke with one of the congregation member and he agreed to prepare the money for that. So I do design the building. It's not big, it's just very small, but at least on the time I contact Yad Vashem and we have a poster, everything from Yad Vashem. But when we inaugurate the museum, I'm glad that when we do it in the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, there is a German ambassador came, Austrian ambassador, and local government came to inaugurate the Holocaust Museum. I'm glad that finally for the first time we have a Holocaust Museum in Indonesia and Southeast Asia. It's very important to educate people about the Holocaust because anti-Semitism is everywhere now.